Only
a lot of boyfriends do it too. A lot of people do it where it's a normal sort of psychological roller coaster you put yourself on, where you start fights over nothing just so you can make up, because the making up is so intense. Because it's like, oh my God, is it really going to break up? I don't want to break up. I don't want to break up either. And the next thing you know, you're making out and you're fucking, and it feels like it's amazing.
I did tell a woman, like, hey, you don't like me. Because she kept doing it. I was like, hey, you need to take your own word for this. We don't get along good.
Yeah.
You just got to stop being like, hey, no, you don't. I know how this ends. You yell at me for nonsense, and then I plead my case. But once you're pleading your case, it's like, what am I? You just feel it's like you've already lost.
When you get stuck in a relationship where the other person likes to just berate you and badger you and insult you, which can happen male or female, right?
Yeah.
That is the worst place to be. That's one of the worst places to be.
It's a swamp. Unlike, it's real sticky.
It's
fucking
swamp.
real hard to get out of. It's a bog. Just zzz, your wheels are turning. And you cannot, because then they can go like, so you giving up?
Oh, God.
And you're like, fucking, all right, I'll fucking do it another. You know what gets a applause break in the new Block special is I go, I've never been lonelier than in a relationship I didn't want to be in. and people are like, yeah. It gets like a slow roller, like,
that's
ooh.
Good. That's good. That's so good. That's so true.
Yeah, because I'm single, not married, doing kids, and it's like, do I get lonely? Yeah, but you're also not miserable. Yeah, and I know a lot of lonely married people.
Yeah, there's a great quote somebody said once, I'd rather be alone than wish I was alone.
Yeah, yeah. It's like alone has its problems.
Yeah.
But it's very manageable.
It's certainly much more manageable than being in a shit relationship. Because if you're alone, you can meet someone nice.
Uh-huh.
But if you're in a shit relationship and you can't get out, you living together.
And if you meet somebody nice, you got to call a lawyer, Joe.
Oh, no. And you got your bills all tied up together. And maybe, you're not married, but you did buy the house together. Like, oh, God. Oh, God.
I had a girlfriend move in with me, and somebody goes, mark the date down. And I was like, why? And they go, because California common law says that if you live together for 7 years, you're basically married.
Oh my God!
And he goes, it just happened to so and so. 2 days after 7 years.
2 days after 7 years, they get hit.
Yep.
Wow.
Not married.
Maybe you should have like a clock, like one of those digital clocks, like the debt countdown.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
let's just count down to 7
baby,
years.
we got to get the fuck out of here.
5 years in, you're like, oh, I'm getting a little itchy.
Yeah.
This is dangerous.
Yeah. So
what happened with this friend? Did someone file oh boy.
Uh-huh.
Looking for a big payday.
Uh-huh. And I think they got it.
Oh my goodness. Wow. That's just stealing money from people.
It's another thing that's in the new special where I say it's like relationships are reliant on like this is a shared thing. And then at a certain point they go, I've been pretending. And then you have to look through it and try to figure out when they were pretending and when they weren't. And then you just have to accept like, oh, this might have all been a grift. And I've seen it. It's happened to me, and not for money, or not a lot of money. And I've seen it happen to guys I know with a lot of money, and they get.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
Like, people that look at someone who's got money and you act like a predator. And you get close to them, and you pretend you like them, and you date them, and you fuck them. It's like a very high level of prostitution.
Yeah,
that people engage in.
It's like to me, it has a lot more to do with sociopathy.
Oh, it does. Yeah, for sure.
It's like, what did you do?
But then you've also got the ego of the guy who thinks this like
I earned it fair and square.
Bomb ass 30-year-old
Fair
woman
and
is
square.
into
I
him.
always got hot chicks, bro.
That's on you, stupid. Like,
Yeah.
look at that. Look at this. Of course, this isn't a fair fight.
Well, that's whenever I'm on dating apps, I just go, have I ever dated someone who looks like this? Like in this area of hotness? And if I have, then I'll like them.
That's a good move.
But if they're way, I'm like, there's no point. I wouldn't trust them.
It's so rational.
I don't trust you, lady.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be. You're here for the wrong reasons.
I do really enjoy when I see those couples, though, of like this aged, fucking decrepit man and this bomb ass wife. I love
Louis
that
had a
story.
fucking great joke about it. Louis' most recent special, incredibly good. The one
Really
before that, excellent. But he had a joke about you're old, you got money, we get together for a couple years, I die, you keep the change. It was so fucking funny.
That's a great line.
Keep the change. But that doesn't bother me.
No,
Like
it
that's
doesn't bother me at all.
fine. That's a fair. Everyone knows what's happening.
Yeah.
He knows what's happening.
Yeah.
She knows what's happening.
Yeah.
Everyone who sees them knows what's happening. It's when they could be very high status and get a lot of good-looking girls, high status women, and then they were just lying,
Yeah.
and there's nothing you can do about it.
Not a
and then
damn
they
thing.
can add the women can add the resentment to it. Like, you knew I didn't care. What would I did it on you? And they can justify it in their own heads because, like, you made me wait and I did it. I would rub your feet and just all this shit of like, lady, I thought you meant it.
It was a job.
Yeah.
It's a long hit.
Yeah.
It's a long financial hit.
Yeah.
And that's men are vulnerable to that, but so are women. A lot of older women. Young guy comes along, fitness trainer. Hey, baby, doesn't Cher have like a 35-year-old boyfriend?
I hope so.